Hey guys, welcome back to another Team Salt deck profile. Today we're doing a modern deck profile for a change, and this is going to be on
Mekk-Knights.
And now, is this a hybrid or is this pure?
This is pure. This is the best way to play the deck in my opinion, because Mekk-Knights has a very rich lore behind it. Actually, the World Legacy is a big part of the World Legacy timeline, and if you look into it, it's really cool. They're really cool monsters. They look cool. They play really interesting. I feel like I'm playing a form of chess whenever I'm playing this deck, so it has become my favorite deck, and it's kind of like my signature deck as of current events.
And I'll make sure to put a Reddit link down in the description or in the comments to kind of the story behind the lore that people have compiled.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also, quick note, this deck is actually pretty good. I actually went to a regionals recently and dropped out of the main event because it was top 8, so I was like, kind of sketchy because I'm playing pure Mekk-Knights, but I did win the Winamat, so...
and what did you all face in that Winamat?
Trickstar, Sky Striker, Trickstar, Sky Striker. The final was Dino, Striker, True King, and I think the one before that was also Striker, Trickstar. So lots of Trickstar. This deck actually does have a pretty good matchup against Trickstar because...
Big beaters.
Yeah. Trickstar has problems with big boys, so...
Let's get into it.
So first we have the 3 Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall. I will explain all the subtleties of how these cards... of how you want to use these cards later. We're just going to go over the cards first. So purple guy. Then we have Blue Sky. He is great. He is at best...
You can get 3.
Yeah, you get triple road off him if your opponent is...
Stupid.
Yeah, or if your opponent is just that many cards on the field. He's actually a great combat card, because if your opponent has more cards their head, you get more advantage off this guy. He is great. 3 Nightmare Corruptor Iblis. But John, he's a brick. No, she's for other decks, yeah.
So why do you say she's not a brick?
Okay, Summon Iblis. Oh, Summon Iblis. Link off. For Mermaid. Here's the column. Mermaid is right there. This is right here.
Mekk-Knight.
Instant column. Free search. Free Morningstar. That's why.
Alright.
It is really good. It makes Mekk-Knights going first doable, which is very important because a lot of people...
A distinction that they did not have before Morningstar was a card.
Yes, and Morningstar is great, but we'll get into that later. 3 Mendex Cyber Dragon. I was really dumb. I should have played this in the main event at the regionals because Cyber Dragon is fantastic. This could even be tuned Cyber Dragon. Do whatever you want, but I chose this one because I love this artwork. This artwork is sick. I'm getting more of this artwork in the mail. The sole purpose of this is breaking Goki boards, really, but it can also be used to just any extra deck. Boral Sword has seen a lot of play.
It's like a kaiju in a sense that gives you a body.
It really is, and it gives you a column, so that's important. I was playing Drolls instead of these. Don't get me wrong, I love Droll, but you have very little hand trap room in here. I have tried, it clogs really badly, so you just want to play those, and then side the hand traps, or side whatever. I'll show you the side later. We have 2 Mekk-Knight Avram? Yeah.
Sure.
Check this out. That's all I have to say about that. 2 of... Oh, this guy is so good. Mekk-Knight Indigo Eclipse. Because every time I draw this guy out, my pants just fill to the brim. Because this guy is so good. You just special him in defense, you just move him. He's so good.
It has some very important interactions with one of my personal favorite cards, World Legacy Secret.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's so good, though. I love this guy. He's one of my favorite monsters ever created.
So if he's so good, why do you only run 2?
Clogs, you can only summon one per turn by its own effect. I mean, you can kind of cheat it out another way, so you can summon one by its own effect and summon the other by Spectrum Supreme or the Trap or something like that. But just 2, you see him enough. You want to see him some of the time and all of the time. T. Win button, free Saryuja, and there's 2
grimy tokens.
There's 2 hoes here. This pimp grinder golem grinding out here.
Do you think it should be banned?
Nope. I like this deck. This
Good answer.
this card gives this deck a pretty unfair layer, which I mean this deck can be annoying at times. At times once you get the ball rolling, it's kind of like Paleo in some ways, to where it actually has a pretty good grind game, but it can also do aggro, and it can also like control. So that's one of the reasons I really like this deck, and I'll go through the combo for this in a bit. 1 yellow, really good. You can have this on board and then move it around with Indigo Eclipse, and then you banish another, you pop another card. Just the one, you search it when you need it. You don't want to clog too hard with this because as great as Yellow Star is, don't get me wrong, it doesn't start your combos. So it grinds you out though, and you can destroy some cards. Pretty good. Red Moon, kind of the counterpart to it. Again, my friend did not know, this is actually our buddy Will, did not know this was once per turn. And he read it, he was like, oh, well, that's not once per turn for no reason, so he's a little salty, but...
That's Will.
That's Will. That's all in a nutshell. I love you, Will, if you're watching this. We love you. Mekk-Knight Lazuli. This is a brick. No doubt about it. It is just pave that cement on and just build that brick wall, because this is a brick.
So why do you run Lazuli instead of Garnet?
It's a level 1, so you can at least make Link Karibo with this. And Link Karibo, you also have Link Spider in here, but Link Karibo is essential in this deck for the Saryuja combo. And to complement it, we have the 3 Brilliant Fusion. This is to send Lazuli and Avram. You make, so you have this and Seraphonite in the same column. You bring back this to your hand, you summon it, you link off for Morningstar. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So that's one of the combos you can do for going first. 3 World Legacy Survivor. I was going back and forth on this card for a while, but it's really good. You get kind of like a pseudo Potted Duality mill.
It's like a weird mixture of like Sylvan cards and like it's almost like a Area Zero.
Yeah, it's great. You just kind of mill, and the only thing is you can't special monsters until the end of the turn. Or you can't special extra deck monsters to the end of the turn, except Link monsters. That's fine. Just rip off your Brilliant Fusion first, then activate this bad boy. You got to be kind of statistical about this deck because you got to search as many Mekk-Knights as you can before you rip off this guy, because that way you have more of a chance of hitting a World Legacy card, because you're not playing crawlers, so you're looking to hit those World Legacy cards, and it hurts really bad when you do not hit one. You just pretend like everything's fine, and but it's not fine. It really isn't fine. But anyways, 3 World Legacy Memory. This is one of the cards that kind of really got this deck going. The fact that we got this as was it special edition, right?
Not sure.
Yeah, this is how the Flood. It's a Flood limited edition card. So we got this as our super in there, and it's an E-Tully for Mekk-Knight. It's great. Another card that helps going first. A lot of times you'll activate this, get out purple Nightfall. You banish them, go search. There's other things you can do with it. You can rip this off on your opponent's turn while you have secrets up, and you get a free negate. They don't really see it coming, so that's kind of cool. Got 2 Shared Ride. We have to play some non-World Legacy cards because Shared Ride is great. Not so good sometimes against some road decks, but all you really need is sometimes that extra edge over those meta decks. So not too great against Goki, unfortunately, because they will still kill you through this card. Great against Trickstar, but really good card. Lots of value out of there.
So why do you run it in the main as opposed to in the side and then in place of Drolls?
So this you can get pluses off of. Drolls you can't. And if I know they're going to play in a combo deck such as Goki, I know almost for a fact that I'm going second, even though Mekk-Knights were known as a going second deck. It's very hard to break that board, so I just sided out for Droll, honestly. And it's just great. It's worth maining. Not as 3 though. It also, you can set it, use it for your column, so just it works out pretty well. And we can only play one of this. I'm debating on this one. I'm going back and forth between this and Judgment. Judgment is really strong, great card. This is also really good. You can really shut you don't care too much about your stuff getting banished.
And it turns off hand traps, right?
It turns off some of them. It does not turn off Ash. It does not turn off like a Ghost Bell or something like that. It does turn off Droll, and it turns off Veiler and Ogre, because those are send as cost. Also, don't...
Graveyard specific.
Yes. And be sure not to... This kind of conflicts with Cyber Dragons, because to fuse with that, you have to send them to the graveyard. There's a requirement. You cannot make that fusion, that particular fusion, the Cyber Dragon fusion, with this up. So be careful about that. Upstart Goblin for consistency. World Legacy Key. This one is really good. It's great against Trickstar, actually. You can, if they reincarnation you, you can plus off this card if you draw into it. It's amazing. And one thing I love doing against Trickstar is you put this in one of their zones, you activate it, you plop a Mekk-Knight down, and that card, unless it's Scapegoat, it's locked down. And that's pretty good.
The best card in the deck.
It makes this deck like playable. It's one side is Skill Drain pretty much, and Call the Haunted. It's a weird love child of both those. This is great. You just negate their monster effects. You use Indigo Clips to move it around. If you don't know what it does, basically any card or any monster effect that activates in the same column as your Mekk-Knight is negated, and that is permanent. So even if they summon a Lone Fire, tribute as a cost for the effect, it was in that column, it activated in that column, so it is still negated. So that is one thing that Skill Drain does not have on this card. So this is, in some instances, better Skill Drain.
Especially against Burning Abyss.
Ouch. 2 Careless Whisper. This is great. You negate spells with it. You're going to want to negate those Twin Twisters. Twisters really hurts you. Negate those Pot of Desires. This Call by the Graves really hurts you. So, also, it's great. You can damage step this. It gives your one level 5 or higher monster 1,000 attack and defense. So that's
like
pretty good.
Despair.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's basically the same as Secret, but it's for spells. So we play slightly less of it. Sorry, I forgot to mention, Key is for traps. That's why I only play one of it in the main deck. And the win button, Imperial Order. It's just stupid. Like Imperial Order, like it doesn't. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't belong in every deck. But the reason that it works in this deck, you could say like, oh yeah, you play a lot of spells. I do play a lot of spells, but I also play really big guys. Imperial Order, one of the instances Imperial Order is really good in is when you have a really good follow-up play that doesn't need spells. And you set this, you activate it, you lock them out, and you just start beating them in the face with big guys. And it doesn't matter if you're losing 1,400 every back and forth, you're beating them in the face faster, and they're just locked out of doing anything. It's just really rough. Negating all spells is just really bad for them. And if you really need to get rid of it, you can send it off of Spectrum Supreme to special summon a Mekk-Knight from deck. So there's that, if you really need to get rid of it. That's the main deck. We're going to get into the extra deck here. Got the Commando Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. Great card for Cyber Dragon. So that's what we use that for. Seraph Knight. We don't really use the extra normal summon very much, actually, when we do that play. We just kind of make it and we go into Morning Star. So Warlord Dragon. It's actually pretty easy to make in this deck. Morning Star plus 2 other guys, at least Warlord. So
it's also very good.
It's also just very good, period. So I use your Skull Dread. This really only comes out, I know it's one whole slot dedicated to one instance, but it really is important when you have your Grinder Golem. You can pretty much always make Saryuja with Grinder Golem. So I'll show you how to do that in a sec. It's pretty easy to do that. One Ulti Link Spider. Thank you, Josh, for trading this for me. It looks beautiful. But yeah, if you open 2 Avrams, you can at least normal summon Avram, make this, use the effect, special summon other Avram, make Morningstar. Not the best way, but you gotta kind of make do. Link Karibo. You're welcome, Europe.
Ouch.
We just lost like 15 people. Nightmare Phoenix. It destroyed Vakro. Really good. And you get to potentially draw off it. So, also good. Cosmic Magician. grind golem stuff, and sometimes sometimes it works with other monsters. Just kind of put it below their extra monster zone, and if they have an arrow pointing into it, you can just bounce their monster. Pretty good. Mekk-Knight Towers is really what it is. Spectrum Supreme, he looks gorgeous, actually, his artwork. He looks like a weather painter, actually. I don't know why.
All the colors.
Yeah, he's very pretty. He's also a big boy. He cannot be targeted and destroyed. He cannot be destroyed as long as he's in the extra monster zone and he points to no monsters.
Destroyed by card effects, mind you.
Right. Yeah, he cannot be destroyed by card effects. He can be run over, but that's just kind of how that goes. He's great. You can make him on turn 1 a lot, especially if you open Brilliant Fusion. And sending the floating Brilliant Fusion off of his effect to special summon a Mekk-Knight from deck is so good.
Is it free per se?
Would you say free value per se? Yes, it is. It is pretty free. To the Nightmare Mermaid, we're never using the effect to special summon Ibli from deck, like ever. We just use it to normal summon Ibli, link off with Ibli, give opponent the Ibli in front of the mermaid. Then you have an instant column to special summon like either purple or blue, and then search the other, and then start going to Morningstar. Speaking of Morningstar, 3 Morningstar. This made the deck a deck. Like, it is no longer an engine that you splash and invoked, or maybe sometimes Trickstar. We have it. This makes the card. This makes the deck good. You search out your skill drain most of the time. Sometimes you search out the other ones like Careless Whisper or Key. All you have to do is discard a Mekk-Knight when it's summoned, or World Legacy card, and you search out a World Legacy card, and he's great. He also has this great passive effect that a lot of people forget about, that Mekk-Knights that are not in the same column as whatever they're battling cannot be destroyed by battle once per turn, and you take no damage. So no, you do not still take the damage. And here's the quick combo with Grinder Golem, because yes, it is 1 card, but it's a very cool combo. So you got Grinder Golem, and you have this guy, or you have purple guy, but we're just doing that for the sake of time. Give him Grinder Golem, okay? You give that Grinder Golem to him, and they say, thank you for that Grinder Golem, and I say, you're welcome. You can have that Grinder Golem anytime, and you got these 2 little boys, these little guys here, and you link both of them off. Link Karibo, link Spider. Cool? Cool. Link off with them. For Caution Magician, get this back to your hand. Special summon. 2 more tokens. Special summon. Search off Blue Sky. Tribute. Link Karibo. You have 4 monsters with different names. Link them off. Sorry, Yusha. Done. Easy, easy. All the other combos, they're pretty easy to figure out. It's just all about kind of setting up your control cards or going aggro. You can really go aggro on them if you're going second. This deck is not the worst at breaking boards. I mean, Goki boards, I'm not going to lie, are pretty hard to break in general. But this deck can play through some stuff. It's nice. The things that hurts this deck a lot, I'm not going to lie about the weaknesses. Hand traps can sometimes hurt this deck a lot, especially if you have no World Legacy cards in hand and you start off with a Morningstar, and they Asher Morningstar, they Veiler it, whatnot. It hurts kind of bad, but I mean, hey, it's Mekk-Knight's May. You can follow up next turn because you do have purple. They're very good recovery cards. Blue is a good recovery card. But it's a solid deck. I think Josh can vouch for me saying it's not as bad as you thought it was, and it's can actually do some pretty good stuff. What do you think?
You want to talk about the side deck?
Yeah.
We got the time for it.
Yes, we do. Alright, so side deck, 3 Thunder King, Ryo. This is, if you know you're going first, or if you really want to go first against Trickstar or Goki, side these in. It hurts the deck pretty bad. Yes, people have told me that Goki can play through this card, and I think that is partially true. But you still run them down on resources, and they're not going to kill you that turn. They're not going to extra link you that turn. So unless they just open nuts, then you can't really do much about that, to be honest. 2 Forbidden Graveyard. This is for, because I know Goki players always signed in Red Reboot against me if I'm going first. So I want to take them off guard and sign in some quick play spells instead. I thought about Book of Moon. I saw a Worlds player that was playing Book of Moon. I thought it was interesting. But yeah, 2 for being graveyard, it stops all graveyard effects for that turn. So it stops BA, it stops True Draco if you happen to run into that. Stops the True Draco spell and trap graveyard effects, and it stops the Goki Grave search effects, which is great. 1 World Legacy key, you side it in for when you're facing Trickstar. That's pretty much it, because you get pluses when they reincarnation you. It's really good for. I got Droll reincarnation once by Zach actually once, and I had this set, I activated it, and I won that game. So it was pretty fun times. 3 hate Trunade for back row decks. Altergeist we're talking about. Trickstar, you name it, stuff like that.
Your favorite barrier stun?
Oof, ouch. Not on the internet. 3 chicken egg for when you're facing against Goki. That way you can have 3 chicken egg and 3 cyber dragon to break their board. And 3 Droll. This card helps you stay alive through Goki plays, and I know you probably realize that I'm saying Goki a lot because Goki's a very scary deck. It has a lot of power and it has a lot of follow-up, especially with Summon and Sorceress now out, so you just kind of gotta do what you can to shut that deck down. It's very explosive, very good. It's the best deck out right now, without a doubt. My opinion, but I think that's about to change because I think that list is about to come out. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for checking out my favorite deck. Bye.